And that has been the major theme of the last 6 years for me is
Hmm.
equality. Who lifts me up when or who tears me down? Who can stand beside me when I'm at my worst and
Yes.
cheerlead me when I'm at my best?
Welcome to the Clinical Tea Podcast, your monthly cup of news, pop culture, and mental health through a clinical lens. With your hosts, Chelsea McCarty and Heather McPaul, licensed professional counselors. Grab your mug and settle in. It's time for the tea.
Welcome back to the Clinical Tea Podcast. Today, Chelsea has picked the topic, and it is on adult friendships. And so I'm actually really interested in this because I was curious if this is a topic that, Chelsea, you see in the therapy room, or is this a topic that has come up for you personally, or both? Like, what made you want to bring up this particular topic?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that so it's interesting because I often see it in the therapy room in that, as I mentioned before, a lot of my clients are women in their 30s and 40s. So there's like a lot of transition going on there. So of women trying to find their people, especially when there's family of origin issues, like where do I find my community, my village? And so I thought this was an interesting topic for that reason. And because I think that I have like such a robust like group of friends and like this is something I struggled with when I was young of finding my people, and now in my 30s I feel like I am like just so blessed that I have my people. So there's kind of like this, like I'm seeing it in the therapy room, but in real life I'm like, this is an area where I feel like fulfilled. So it's a little bit of both.
Good. I hope you have some insights to share about that because I feel like it is a difficult thing for a lot of adults to find their people, and especially as you get older.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot in the therapy room as well, especially with men.
Mm,
There's such I feel like the older I'm seeing that they are, the less they have hobbies that would introduce them to other people. And so I'm interested to hear what you like, how have you managed to have such a big friend group into your 30s? Because I feel like, at least for me, the older I get, the more picky I am
which isn't a
about.
bad thing though.
No, and my theory is that, like, when we're little, like middle school, socialization is so important,
Yes.
so important. And because of that, we tend to develop relationships on surface level stuff. Or you're just so happy to be part of something that
Yes.
we maybe don't connect on anything of substance, values, things like that. As you get older, especially I'm learning like in your 40s where you really know who you are now, it makes sense that we would get pickier about the company that we keep.
Absolutely. And if you think about like human development, right? Like and this is a conversation that I often have with my adult clients in the room, is that through childhood, adolescence, even a little bit like early adulthood, like it just is natural and organic that you're around people that are your age and going through similar stages or similar interests, right? Like whether it's an activity and you've connected with that friend through there, or it's just somebody you have common classes with and you've sat next to. So it's almost like we're given this idea about friendship that it's like simple, and then we, become adults and we start to like dissipate, right? Like we all kind of maybe take different career paths, or we get in relationships, or we move away. And then it's like, how then do I find my people? It's been so
Mm,
simple. And what I often hear in the therapy room is people questioning, like, is it me? Like, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel
mhm.
like I can't connect with people? Why do I feel like I can't find my people? So it's so interesting and also like in alignment with what you're saying about being pickier, because I think that's absolutely true. Like what we value, I think, in friendships in adulthood is much different than what we cared about or what we valued when we were kids. We probably, like to your point, we probably weren't even really like aware of what we valued. It was just, proximity.
And it
These are the
was
people around us.
superficial.
Yeah.
You like this band? I like this
Yeah.
band. It is interesting for the people who have had relationships since then and kept up with that, because I definitely have one of my best friends from that time period. So we're looking at 30, 35 years. And so I also want to like pick your brain about what you think keeps those things together. Like, what are the ingredients?
For like a friendship. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I feel like I have like the inverse, like my personal experience was inverse to what most people have. Like a lot of, and like my, I guess, thing about like where do I fit was like I was seeing people who had like these long-standing friendships. Like you mentioned, like having a best friend. Like I don't have like that best friend from like we've been friends since kindergarten or childhood because I moved a ton when I was a kid. So although I like knew a lot of people and made friends easily, it was hard for me to like maintain friendships because I was never in one place. So that was often something I felt like I was missing in my life. But I do have one friend that I've been friends with since high school that is my best friend, but she feels like home to me. Like, and you may agree with this about adult friendships. Like, you're not like interacting or talking as often, right? Like, you may go like days or weeks without talking to your friend, but like when you do, you pick it right back up. And that's what
Yeah.
it feels like. Actually, the other day I was driving in the car and like two songs from like high school came and I like texted them to her. And like that was the feeling I had. It was like nostalgia and home. But then I also have these like excuse me, friendships that I've made in adulthood to like what you had asked, like how did that happen? That like they are just as equally as important to me. Like, you know, people talk about when you go into a relationship, like people carry baggage. And fortunately for me, my husband's baggage was like this amazing group of friends that like he had and like I don't know how it works, but we all get along and like over time that has been like one of like the greatest gifts is like now these people and some of these women are some of my best friends and like closest friends. So I feel so going back to like that version of me that feel like I that felt like I didn't fit because I never stayed in one place. Like now I feel like this is where I fit like with this group.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've sort of picked up people all along the way, because my life has been all over the place, right? In different countries and different.
Absolutely.
I do think it's hard when you relocate to start over and find someone you can connect to. But I think one of the things that draws people together is some kind of common experience or shared experience. Like my best friend from the military, I feel like we bonded because we went on a mission together. We were on deployment together, and I always make the joke that nothing brings you closer together than staring down death together. But but she is like, it's one of those friendships where you have this common experience, it bonds you together, and then years can go by since I've seen her, and then you just pick up in this very comfortable, you don't have to be anybody other than who you are. So for me, I think there's a level of acceptance
Yes.
of who we are in all the phases and evolutions of our life that is necessary to keep relationships and friendships going.
And, you know, you talking about your experience of moving around a lot, like through the military and in adulthood, like I'm curious, knowing that, like, right, what we talked about growing up, it's just natural and it's there and it's easy access. Like, how have you managed that in adulthood, like making friends?
It's not good. Actually, in the last 6 years, I've been doing a lot of house cleaning, to be honest. Because I think that I've come to a place where I understand myself so much better that it started to make me reassess different relationships in my life that weren't very healthy. And and think about the effort that I put into the relationships that I have. I have struggled along the way to find new people, but I've also come to the conclusion right now that I don't really need any more friends. Like, I'm good.
Wasn't it like
Honestly,
quality over quantity as we get
yes.
older?
Yes.
You
It's
know?
quality. And that has been the major theme of the last 6 years for me is quality. Who lifts me up when or who tears me down? Who can stand beside me when I'm at my worst and
Yes.
cheerlead me when I'm at my best? I grew up with a critic in the house. I don't need my friends to be
Yeah.
that, you know. But I've collected people over the years that sort of played that narrative that I grew up with as a kid, and really seeing that, and also seeing that, and needing to make changes as I grow and understand my own self-worth,
Sure.
but also just knowing my own nervous system too. Like, I don't have a huge capacity for socialization like I did in my 20s. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I have friends that are all different now. So this one over here, she's very energetic. She likes to do a lot of stuff. This one over here is fine to just be a homebody and whatever. So I also have to consider, if I'm going to hang out with this person or this person, like, what does that require of me?
Yeah.
I love both of them, these sort of examples that I have in my head, but like, I have to also check where I'm at, and see if I have the capacity for those people. And it has nothing to do with how I feel about them as a person.
Exactly. Like you can love them, feel connected to them, but what you receive in the relationship is different. And I think like that's so true. And like I talk to clients about this as well. Like all people, right? But when we're talking about friends or people that are close to us, like serve different roles. Like, maybe you have a friend that you feel super vulnerable with, and like that's the person you confide in when, shit's going down. And then maybe you have a friend that's like, your relationship is really based off of fun. And when you need to be uplifted, you hang out with them. Like, I think that people provide different things in the relationship. But that idea of quality over quantity, I think, is just so true in adulthood. Like, let's face it, like, we're all busy. Like, so if we're going to make time for somebody, we want to feel like we're getting something from that, right? Like you're going to leave, you're going to enjoy that interaction. You're going to leave that interaction feeling good.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. But I love your vulnerability in this thing. Like I've been doing housekeeping, like even the ability to like acknowledge that a friendship may not it may have lived its life or may not be healthy for you anymore, and like stepping out of that, because I see that a lot with clients too, like almost like this feeling of guilt of like getting out of a bad friendship,
Yeah.
different than like a bad romantic relationship.
Well, it's almost similar in that I think the guilt comes from shared history.
That's
You
exactly what
know?
it is. I've known this person since fill in the blank. This person was there for me for fill in the blank.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that has not been a good experience having to say goodbye to certain people, but recognizing the pattern was just not healthy. And I've done enough work on myself that I don't have any animosity towards these people that I've
Sure.
had to let go. I wish, I truly wish them the best. It just, us together, it was not good. And, I always say this about relationships too. You can be good people, just not good together.
Hmm.
Sometimes the dynamic can be toxic. And, at this phase of my life, like, I don't have time for that shit. Just don't.
I mean, well, yes, we don't have time for it, and we have a better sense of ourselves and like value for ourselves in
Yeah.
adulthood that maybe we didn't have when we were kids, to be able to say, like, I'm not putting my energy towards this, or I'm not.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, the people pleasing parts that they have get in the way. Uh, you know, Whatever they learned about dynamics growing up can get in the way. And, I think for me, there were just so many things I never saw at the time, or like, you have this delayed processing. So like,
Hmm.
I didn't always catch the shitty things that people were saying to me or recognizing that they were shitty.
Yeah.
There have been times where I've actually screenshotted conversations to a friend of mine who's also a therapist and saying like, am I like tracking here? And they've said to me, oh, I don't like the way that person's talking to you. And I was like, okay, because like I don't always pick up on that stuff. And I think that really helped open my eyes to like, yeah, maybe I should start trusting my gut, because if I have to ask, there's some kind of knowing.
Yeah. No, I made the face because I was thinking, like, how many times as therapists are we sitting in the room and we're listening, right, to somebody's narrative, and us as the outsider can so clearly see that or be thinking a response like your friend gave you. And then you, Heather, are like questioning it or like unsure or maybe like giving passes or reasons as to why this may be said. And like it makes sense because when you're emotionally invested in it, you're not seeing it for just what it is.
I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes much to our detriment do we do that.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that. You ever have like just like random thoughts when you're like getting ready or driving? So this morning I had this random thought about trust. And I was like, I think that I trust people until they give me a reason not to trust them. And then I thought, is that a safe way to operate? And then I was trying to think, like, have there been times where I've been burned by that? Oh, yeah, absolutely. But does that mean that I change that?
Well, the thing is, like, how do you even gauge that? Because, for me, I don't always pick up on the social cues. So, like, am I only picking up on the fact that I can't trust this person when it's like smacking me in the face?
Yeah, like at what
Yeah.
point? Sure, yeah. And I was thinking, like, so what would be the inverse? Like, what would it look like for me to not, like, I wouldn't know how to operate if I were to change that and be like, I'm not going to trust someone until they show me that they're trustworthy.
Well, that feels not healthy
I
too,
know,
right?
like, that doesn't feel healthy either.
Then we're just avoidant, right? It's like,
But yeah, but like to your point, like, yes, like any kind of
I mean,
relationship, right? Like
I think
the
it's like
trusting the
Brene
gut.
Brown, like talking about how, vulnerability is important for connection. And so you don't know until you're in it. You're not going to know.
Yeah, so
So
true.
the
But like the
risk is
listening
worth
to the
it.
gut, like if you're like to
Yeah.
draw something out of it, right? Like it's almost like if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. Or like,
Yeah, but a lot of people have trouble trusting that, especially like, people who have all kinds of reasons for second guessing and questioning. Is this, and that's sort of the other thing that therapists help with. Like, is this, does it feel personal because it's stirring up your own shit, or is this person actually being an asshole?
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. But I was thinking, and this is sort of a tangent, but I was thinking, you're a mom, right? And I always feel like it must be easier for parents to make connections because you have this person, right? And then you're like, hey, you have a person and I have a person. Let's hang out. And like you go to the same events and the
Yeah.
sports and all that. Like, I just assume that's an easy way as an adult. But then if you don't have kids, then you're just kind of floating. It's like dating. What do? Find somebody at the
Yes.
grocery store and be like, hi, you want to be my friend?
No, it's so, all right. So it's so funny. And this is why I love doing this with you because you and I get along so well and we're so connected in so many ways. But like in some ways we're different. So I think it's so cool because in choosing this, I'm like, I want to know how Heather makes friends because I know that you are not a mom and you are absolutely correct. Like, that has been like such a buffer or like a way to like make friends is through my kids, and especially now my oldest is school age, so like now we're really in like being at school activities and sports and like things that you named.
Yeah.
And so yes, that has made it easier. It's funny, and like talking about the dating, like I always say that to my clients that like making friends in adulthood is like dating because like you come across somebody, right? Or even like in the mom realm, like you come across a mom, you're like, oh, I could be friends with her, but it's like, do I want to take it to a play date? Do I want to exchange numbers? Like, is she feeling the same way about me? So it's so
Yeah.
funny. And last year was the first year I was like involved in the school. Like my son was in like our district school, and I decided to be a room parent. And, there were two of us. We were working on some kind of project for something. And like typical me would be like, all right, you do this part and I'll do this part. And I was like, maybe I'm going to do this differently. So like I asked the other room mom if she wanted to get together to work on the project. And it was so vulnerable for me. And Heather, it was one of the best decisions I've made recently.
Aw, I
Like
love
she
that
has
for
become
you.
like such a good friend, and like talking about how you were saying like, finding other mom friends, like although it is easier to find other people being a mom, it is difficult to find like all of the elements. So like you and the other parent get along, the kids get along, you parent the same way, your spouses get along. Like
Yeah.
so I'm glad you asked me that because I wanted to talk about vulnerability because I think that that's like a thing so many of us are afraid of, but like if we don't take
Mm,
the step, if we don't take the risk, we may miss out on something really great.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess I didn't really answer your question before about how I make
Yeah,
friends.
we could circle back.
Well, one thing that I have done, and I also suggest to some of my clients, is they have apps for that. like,
Yes.
when I first moved to New Jersey, because I'm not even from here, I'm originally from New York, but I lived in North Carolina, and then I lived, overseas for 4 years. So when I came to New Jersey, I was like, man, I got to get out of the house. Like, I got to meet
I gotta
people.
find people.
And one of the things I did, there was a website called girlfriendsocial.com, and it was for women to meet, for relocators and, people to meet new friends. And now they have Bumble BFF,
Mm-hmm.
which I've occasionally gone back on. I went a couple years ago. I went on to try to see if I could find somebody who was local that wanted to run with me
Yeah.
because that's kind of a lonely situation sometimes. I didn't find anybody who wanted to do the same thing I did, but that's fine. But it is kind of a cool research, and it is just like dating. You make a profile, you're swiping on people. It's weird.
Now, does it like draw you? So that example of like you were looking for somebody to run with, like,
Yeah.
because right, dating is pretty simple. Like we know what people are looking for when they're dating, right? But when you're making friends, like, did it pull? Is the algorithm that it pulls people that have similar interests, or it's
Yeah,
really
I
just like
mean,
you're seeing people in your area, your age group, and you're
it's you put in what you're looking for and it kind of gives you stuff. The problem I kept running into was it kept giving me all these Philly people. And I'm
mm-hmm.
like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going over the bridge. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want someone local.
Things Heather's
You
not
know,
doing in adulthood.
I'm not going over
Managing
the bridge.
toxic relationships and going over the bridge.
There's a longer list than that. But yeah, someone someone driving distance, we can go meet
Yeah.
up at a park or
Hmm.
something.
Simple. You wanted it to be
Yeah.
simple.
But even before that, just other people to sort of expand my social circle. And, just like dating, you get some people you don't like.
Mesh with?
You like them, they don't like you. You don't like them, they also don't like you. Like it's quite a weird, it's quite a weird experience. But yeah, but I actually have two friends that I've met off apps that I'm still friends with to
Okay.
this day. One was in my wedding, even.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she actually, I haven't seen her in a while because this is another thing. When life phases change, people tend to fall out. And like she had a baby and a couple years back. And so it's been hard to coordinate time. And that's hard for the child-free people because not like, oh, let's bring our kids together. And it's not that I don't want to hang out around her kids. Like I don't have a problem with kids at
Yeah.
all. But it's a time thing, right?
Yeah.
And as the kids get older, they have more activities, and parents get very busy, so it's easy to lose touch, and that kind of sucks. But
Yeah. You are like really just setting me up so well today because
you're welcome.
because there's like this. Okay. So are you a Mel Robbins fan? Let me start with that.
No.
I know. I so read that.
What about my personality might tell you that?
All right, so Mel Robbins talks about friendships. And for those of you who don't know, Mel Robbins is like a speaker. She often takes information from therapists, from research, things like that, and kind of like digests it for the general population, right? Is that a good way
Yeah,
to describe
you
it? Is
could.
that a new...
That's a very polite way of saying it.
I like Mel, but
Okay.
so she talks about friendship and she says that research shows that there are like three pillars of friendship or like three things that are the recipe for friendship, which maybe you will agree or disagree with this, but I'm curious what you think. So their proximity, so that idea of like close by. So even you joking about like, I'm not going over the bridge, like, yeah, if it's simple or it's not easy, it's not like going to happen frequently, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
physical proximity. And again, why it makes it easier for us when we're growing up to have and maintain friendships. Timing is the second one. So the example you just gave of your friend, like she moved into motherhood, like it kind of changed things. It's like timing, not in the sense of having time, but timing of like, what are you doing in this stage of your life? So even the example that I gave about like, now I have school age kids, like those are now probably going to be my primary relationships for the next handful of years, right?
Sure.
Because the proximity, the timing. And then the last one is energy. So essentially like effort, like what kind of effort do I want to put into this, which we know no matter what you got going on as an adult, like again, we are all busy. We all have things going on. So like, do I want to put time and attention into this?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Let me go through
Take the
each one
Mel
of those.
out of it.
Proximity.
Yeah, I'm
My
curious for you what you think of that.
Yeah. Well, because I have three best friends, right? My military best friend lives in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I have my childhood best friend that lives in New York. And my New Jersey best friend lives in the next county. So while it's, I don't know, a 25-minute drive, it's still something that doesn't happen very often. Maybe once a month. Maybe we try to get together physically. But I talk to her all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On Messenger or whatever. So the other thing I was thinking of is like, for people on the autistic spectrum, proximity means something different, I feel like, because a lot of autistic people, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but because of the sensory overload and overstimulation, socialization takes a lot of energy. And so, and this sort of correlates with the energy piece too, is like, it may look different for a neurotypical person because maybe they need more out of that relationship in those categories. But for an autistic person, we might be okay with not seeing people all the time,
Yeah.
you know? Or like my one friend, very high energy, like she's always going to concerts and stuff. And I have to tell her, like, when I hang out, like, we're probably going to watch a crime documentary or something. Like, I don't have that kind of, first of all, over 40, I don't have that kind of energy anymore. I'm not sleeping, you know what I mean? So, like, we got to do something more lower key. And so she knows that, right? And so, like, if we're going to hang out, she knows that we have to bring it down a notch. And she's cool with that, which is awesome because I can't meet her. I just can't meet her where she's at a lot of the time. And she's cool with that. So I think it's also just accepting each other energetically where you are and not asking for more from that person. And if you need more, like, again, like you were saying in the beginning, like we might have to outsource those things to other people. So I think it's about knowing yourself, knowing the other person, sort of establishing maybe ground rules for relationship. But I don't necessarily think that some of those things are across the board the same for everyone.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes that's okay, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Well, and that's how you decide about the relationship, right? Like, just like any other relationship, when you get multiple people involved, there's becomes norms, right? So it sounds like your norm with this particular friend is they know that you're not going to be going to the concerts with them, but when you hang out, that it's going to be something chiller, and they're accepting of that.
Yeah, because it's still something that we have in
That
common.
you have in common.
We love murder. I'm just kidding. That's another episode.
I was
coming
going to
up
say,
next.
that is another episode. We're going to get to that one.
That'll be next, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
But
what
no,
was
I
the second
appreciate your
pillar?
what?
What was the second pillar?
The second pillar is timing. So like stage
Oh
of
yeah,
life. Yeah. Or
yeah.
like what you
And
got
like,
going on in your life, you know?
it's hard for a child-free person. I mean, there's more of us now than there ever have been.
Yeah.
But like a lot of my friends have kids, and I have no problem with that. But it does, constrict how much I see them,
Absolutely.
and of course it would, of course it would. And I don't. I think it's I think it's similar in the dating thing. Like I have some clients that are going through the dating thing, and they keep questioning like, do I really want to date someone who has children because like they're going to take up a lot of their time. So you really have to go into that knowing how that's going to affect the relationship. And if you're okay with that, then it's cool. And if you're not, then they're not for you, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that in because the timing thing I found makes sense for, let's say, like the Gen Pop, right? But then you bring in something like, okay, well, if you're not going to that, you know, typical next stage of like, okay, now I have my career, now I'm in my relationship, now
Mm,
I'm having children. If you're not doing those things, what does your timing look like? You know, and how does that affect relationships?
yeah. Yeah, it's easier for me because I'm like, all right, I gotta go let the dogs out.
Yeah.
Like that's my only, or I gotta go to bed. It's one of the two, you know? But I'm also not the kind of person that stays up late anyway. So, you know, I don't know. I also think it's hard as a therapist because, like, we might see people until nighttime. Our job can be emotionally and psychologically
Mhm.
taxing. I'm not doing shit after work. I'm not hanging out. You see these people are like, oh, you want to go for a happy hour? No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to talk to anybody after that. Like, I gotta go home and process my own shit. But I'm just a curmudgeon, I feel like, a perimenopausal curmudgeon.
No, I feel that way too. There's a particular day of the week that is just like a heavier day for me.
Mm,
And I come home and I don't want to talk to anybody. I
hmm
don't want to do anything. I want to couch ride.
Yeah. I don't even listen to music with words when I leave work, like
Listen to music, period, in the car.
too much words. No, no more words.
Silence.
Mm,
But then, so there's also, how do I want to say this? I also hear clients talk about or label themselves because of this energy piece, right? Like this energy level, like, oh, I must be an introvert or oh, I must be an extrovert. And I don't know that I subscribe to that. Like, I believe that there are introverts and extroverts, but I think it goes back to like looking at yourself as a whole person and looking at the other person. Like, if somebody is going to
yeah.
be emotionally draining, does that mean that you're an introvert? Because if you connect to other people, kind of like what we were saying about like what you get from different relationships.
Yeah. I think it comes down to your nervous system and really being aware of what your own gas tank looks like and what it can handle. I can't be in relationships with someone who's going to take way more than they give. And not that it's 50-50. Any relationship.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous expectation that it would be 50-50
Yeah,
all the time.
absolutely.
But what I always say is the pendulum should swing in the other direction eventually.
Hmm.
And this brings up a good point. Like, one of my caveats for being a friend of mine and being in my social circle, you ready for this?
Yeah. I didn't
You have
sign
to
this
be in therapy.
contract, but
You have to be in therapy.
you have to be in
You
therapy?
have to be in therapy. I do not have friends that aren't in therapy.
What about
I
internet
cannot
and
handle
therapy?
it. Because two things end up happening, and I think a lot of therapists can agree with this. You either become their fucking therapist, which no thank you. No. Or it, like, a lot of times it becomes emotionally taxing because you're watching this person who is struggling and not doing anything about it. And I can't handle that shit. Like,
Do you have them sign a contract? Like you will be in therapy if you are friends with them?
no, it's just a lot of my friends do.
Yeah.
And when I have seen my friends struggle in the past, I've said, what would be good for this? therapy. And they've done that. They've just done it. So, like, I know that must sound fucked up to some
No,
people.
no, I'm like processing it because,
Yeah.
well, finish your thought and then I'll.
It's too hard. It's too hard when people have no self-awareness of how they show up in relationship. And I don't want to have to teach you that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's not my job. Because I've definitely had relationships where people used me
Like as.
almost to take care of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't feel good. I'm not your mommy. I'm not your therapist. You know, I don't want to play that role. So you need to go do something about your stuff. And everybody's got stuff. Everybody. I just want a certain, like, I almost said caliber of person. That sounds fucking terrible. But I want people in my life that are working on growing because they want to be healthier people.
Yes. And that was one of the directions out. So I had two different paths here that, like, the more you talk, the more insight I got on that. Like, one
Yeah.
path was like, you know, like, is this something that like people are attracted to in you? But then that speaks to, it sounds like maybe past Heather, because you talked about like house cleaning.
Yeah.
But the first thought that I had, and probably what's more in alignment now, is like you're jokingly saying you have to be in therapy, but like wouldn't that be a commonality? Like wouldn't you then begin to, like, if somebody values therapy and is in therapy or values working on themselves, wouldn't that then be something that like would gravitate, like maybe not outwardly, but how people are often feel connected to people that they feel are similar to them,
Well, I
right?
think the more you grow, the more you put out a different frequency. Yeah.
Exactly. So that
But the,
like most of your friends are probably in therapy because they value that. They value like personal growth. They value understanding themselves. And
yes.
so do you, you know?
Yes. But the research is actually showing. They did a research study a while back on Bumble, the dating app, and how something like 80% of people on there wanted to know that the person that they're swiping on is in therapy.
Really?
Yes, it's becoming a trend. Because, first of all, in that respect, no one wants to be the mommy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to feel responsible or be put in a position where this person doesn't understand how relationships work. You know? That
This
might
is
be
good.
harsh.
No. I don't want to digress, but I have like a thought or a question about that.
Yeah,
Like
go
I
ahead.
wonder what the age group was.
I don't know. That's well, what's the demographic that's really on these apps anyway?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I was thinking, like, right? Because
Mm,
maybe even some people like in our age bracket, certainly older, are not as open to therapy. So that I
sure.
think that was my reaction, right? My reaction
Hmm.
is
No,
the
I mean
population
it's
I surround
trending in a
myself
good
with.
way if it's the
Yeah.
younger people. Yeah.
Yeah. And so and I find that younger people are more accepting slash more willing, wanting to work on their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, you know, what really helps a lasting relationship are just really two things to me. My two pillars, okay?
Yeah. What are Heather's pillars?
Acceptance and flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to accept someone for who they are and also be flexible that that can change. And if that's in alignment with, you know, a healthy progression, I would say, then it's good. You know, then it works.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I would agree with those. I actually totally agree with that because, right, like acceptance is accepting somebody when we talk about people, like that you may not like all elements of them, but you know that that's them. And I think in any relationship, once you get to that, you can move freer in that relationship. Now, the
Yeah.
uniqueness or the privilege of friendships is like these are people that we choose, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, family is like a whole
Whole
other
other episode.
animal, but like that's like where we come from, right? But like we
Sure.
have this privilege with friendships where we can choose who we want to surround ourselves with. And I think flexibility is true too. Like again, like talking to clients, like often personalizing the responses or feedback from other people, right? Like I'm making some of this up, but like generally, like I haven't seen this person, or I'm the initiator, or, they must not want to hang out with me because the last two times they said no. Like, I think that flexibility too of like people have different stuff going on at different times in their lives, and we're not
Yeah.
always attuned to that. So it's not
Yeah.
personal. Like, keep trying, like,
Well,
keep
healthy
asking,
communication,
you know?
right? Healthy communication is
Yeah.
important
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know. We think we know. We don't know what's going on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then
And
again, I think vulnerability is an important factor in a.
for sure, to be able to communicate in the
Mm-hmm.
first place. But I also think that, oh crap, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it was me. Brain's too fast for the mouth.
I mentioned family,
No, it was after that. No, it's gone.
flexibility, keep putting yourself out there. Don't take it personal.
Uh, something about flexibility. Oh, we still need boundaries
Oh,
too,
yeah.
right? So, and I think people struggle with the idea that you can love someone and still have boundaries, you know? And I think that's important. And somebody who really loves you and accepts you for who you are will be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to like it, you just have to respect it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so I think the people who have lasted the test of time in my world are, willing to look at themselves, also willing to have difficult conversations, and people that I've bonded with for a variety of different things,
Mm-hmm.
And they can have different walks of life and they can have different phases, and that's okay too. It's just like marriage. It takes work. It's work to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
But both people have to want to do the work.
If you were to give advice to someone, Heather, about making friendships in adulthood, what do you think? You mentioned your pillars, but is there any additional advice you would give somebody?
Go to therapy. And that's always my answer to everything. But it's never too late to try. There's definitely the apps out there. There's also Meetup, where you just go to a place. It's all around a particular activity. And so you might meet people you actually like through doing those things. And so that's kind of cool as well. And there's all kinds of resources to meet new people, even just like functions, craft fairs, like things that are going on in the community, or trying to find your people through causes that you care about is helpful,
Yeah. And what's been successful in maintaining your friendships? Like when you talk about like your friend from the military, or the other friend that you mentioned, like that even though, she became a mom, you're still friend, like some of these longer term relationships.
Yeah, I think with my battle buddy from the military, we try to see each other at least once a year, although we went 2 years last time, just because of, I don't know, life. So again, flexibility in those things. I think just reaching out, sending a text, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Even if we don't meet up, just trying to keep communication lines open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important too. And I think it's something that we like don't capture as part of the picture, that connection and communication doesn't necessarily have to equal spending physical time together.
Yeah.
Like and I don't know about you, but some of the people I'm most connected to, like I don't see often, but it's just like an ongoing conversation in a text message. And although I love to see them, like I'm grateful for that too, that keeps us connected as well. Because, as a mom, it is hard for me to, get out without my kids, or like find that time and all of that. So I'm grateful that, some of my friendships, can still exist even though I'm not seeing that person regularly.
I think also you just made me think about like expectations when you're communicating. Like, I know when I send my friend in New Jersey a text message and she has a kid, I know that like, I'm not like, oh, she better answer me right away. I get that she might be putting the kid to bed or something. And so I'm just kind of laissez-faire about her answering me. You just do when you do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, but like some people have to temper their
Yeah.
expectations
Expectations. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
around, because you don't know what someone's doing.
Well, even you, Heather, like you and I were like, we're seeing clients for a long period of time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like, I'm like, that is far from me.
I'm answering texts in the bathroom.
Me
That's what's
too. Well,
happening.
that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I have my work do not disturb.
Yep.
Answering
Yeah.
texts. My friends are like,
Oh,
when do you answer me? I'm like, while I'm peeing.
yeah. And my friends know, like after 9 o'clock, my phone goes on D&D. So good luck. Like I'm not answering. I'm in bed.
But again, that idea of acceptance. Like, I will sometimes receive text messages and like, hey, I know you're working right now, or hey, I know you're in session. You don't need to answer this
Yeah.
right now, but here's the thing,
I'm
and I
going to put that
appreciate that.
caveat on it because we just know.
Yeah.
It's already
Yeah.
spoken.
Or like people apologizing to me for not responding. Like, you never have to apologize to me for not responding. Like, to me, a text message is just like one ongoing conversation. Like, you pick it up, you put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like nowadays you can see if somebody read it usually. But yeah, I don't expect people to get back to me super quick, but like eventually.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that's important in the flexibility category or pillar, whatever you want to call it, that like, our friends are not on call 24/7.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Yeah. And with texting, we have like more access to people. So we also need to respect that boundary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like, I guess this would fall under the energy category, but something that I have found successful in maintaining my friendships is like I just said, like a lot of my friendships live in group messages, and like I'm cool with that. And I think there's also like with a couple of like my groups of friends, there's like an anchor. So like meaning that like I have a couple of friends that we exercise together, so that's the anchor, right? Like that we're trying to take classes together, so we're sharing of schedules, and like that's kind of what gets us physically together.
Yeah.
I have my book club friends that we do that, like these things that like are common interests that maybe brought us together or we found were common, and kind of anchor or hold us accountable for like getting together, like almost like a reason to get together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or prioritize that time.
Yeah. I can't say I have those kind of things currently.
You were in a book club for a minute, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a while ago. But I stopped going to that. It wasn't, I don't know. So again, it's about trusting nervous system. Like if I start dreading something's coming, I'm like, why am I doing
Why
this?
am I doing this? Yeah.
It's voluntary. Why am I putting myself through this? But yeah, I guess I have different sorts of friends. Like I have the friend that I talk to all day long about stupid shit. I have
crime friend.
I have my true crime friend. Dude, when there's a new thing, we're texting about it. You want to watch this together? And then I have like, we just have different categories for different things that we're interested in, and I guess that's our anchor, is our
the common thing.
Interests. Yeah,
the common interest.
yeah.
And again, maybe brought you together, or you discovered you had this common interest that you were both like passionate about.
Yeah, and like we don't have to have all the things. Because I think people think this about like finding a partner too, of like you should have things in common, and yes and no, like not everything, because then it'd be super boring. Like you should have some variety. And I like that I have this friend who does this and that friend that does that. And because just like in modern love, you're never going to find someone to fulfill all of those roles. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's too high of an expectation. That's too much pressure on one person.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like romantic relationship, friendship, whatever it may be, I think there's something fun about having differences, because you may discover that that's something that you appreciate about that person, or maybe even something that it becomes an interest or something you want, like a goal for you, introduces you into something different.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I love what my friends teach me about things I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a good conversation. I think, did we hit all of our points?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my list crossed off, I think.
I think I did as well.
Cool.
I think, like, again, the flexibility, like driving it home, like what makes it successful, like what's the secret sauce, like
Rolling with the punches.
rolling the flexibility, acceptance, vulnerability. I think vulnerability is probably my top one because,
So maybe
like,
we should like write our own fucking book.
yeah, there we go. The
Screw you, Mel
clinical
Robbins.
T's pillars
Yeah. I'll put that in the show
friendship.
notes.
Yeah. But just take the risk. Ask the person for their number. Go to the class.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to find.
You don't. I mean, there is this disconnect now that technology is such a part of our lives. And so there are other people looking for you too.
Yeah, it's
You know?
so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the best relationships may be ahead of us, not behind us, too.
I don't know. That was kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
I like it, but it was a little cheesy. I like
I can
it.
bring
though.
the cheese. That can be my role in
yeah.
this.
I'm the curmudgeon and you're the cheesy sunshine. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today and listening to the tea. And if you liked the episode, then subscribe or follow or whatever you do on here. And we'll see you next time.
See you next session.